Welcome to Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Krystal, a doctor of East Asian medicine and a holistic transformational coach. Here we will shine light on wisdom keepers, paradigm shifters who inspire us to live thriving, joyful lives. Let's be inspired. Although I am a doctor of East Asian medicine, this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It does not replace professional medical advice. Please consult a qualified healthcare provider for guidance on your personal health needs. Welcome to the Dr. Krystal podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Krystal, and I am so delighted and honored to introduce to you Jasleen Kaeley, founder of Goddess Artistry, where her focus is to elevate beauty, empower spirit. She's a luxury makeup artist, a tantric yogini, and today she's going to share about getting sober at 18. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Krystal. I'm so excited to share this story. I've never shared it in this specific way before. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, what an honor to have you share here on this podcast. To start, can you share with us, what does sacred mean to you?
Sacred to me means intentionally invoking spirit, God, or just the divine presence of whatever you perceive as God into any space or into your own practice. When you intentionally invoke the energy of God, that makes something sacred to me. Like whether it's a space or again, like your own practice, like just with that God presence, the space has immediately just become infused with the sacredness. So that's what that means to me.
Oh, yes, I love that. How would you like to start your amazing story? I mean, it's incredible. What a miracle that you got sober at 18.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a teacher who told me that the people who suffer the most seek God the most. So I feel like that was my journey, and I suffered a lot at a very young age. So it really forced me to seek God. And if that never happened, like I wouldn't have had a reason to seek God. And I'm so grateful for all the experiences that I've had. So I guess I'll just get into like a little bit of my recovery story at a very like young age, and then how that has unfolded into what's happening in this present day, and how I also was inspired to get sober at 18.
Yes.
Okay, so when I was really young, when I was like a little baby, I had a lot of emotions. Like I always had just so many emotions. I've always been like a very emotive, sensitive person, and I just didn't know how to handle them. And also like I was constantly trying to escape those emotions within me. I was trying to escape myself. I was just constantly wanting to escape anything that I was experiencing that was painful. So like even at a young age, like when I was just a child, I just was binge eating. My mom had to put food in a safe and lock it up because I was binge eating, and it was bad. That just unfolded throughout the years into like just doing anything I could do to escape the negative experiences I was having, because I didn't know how to like handle it, because I had so many emotions and then so much happening around me that I didn't understand, and I just didn't know how to regulate. So I was just like, I'm gonna eat all these marshmallows to make me feel better. I'm gonna watch as much TV as I can to make me feel better, and just like escape the experiencing of pain and discomfort and negative emotion. So that was just like really my experience growing up. I endured like a lot of bullying growing up, and that like led me to later really being forced to tap into like my own self-worth, and like instead of escaping myself, learning how to find solace, comfort, and sanctuary like within myself. Because when you just like grew up being like very, very deprived of like self-worth, and also just trying to do everything you can to avoid yourself, you have no choice but to then like come back home to yourself later and really find comfort in the goddess or the god within. That was a little bit of my journey growing up. And when I was a teenager, things got really, really difficult because I think I just hit my capacity from being bullied and just not really feeling like I fit in anywhere. Like I was really artistic and I was very free spirited. And I have a lot of Neptunian energy. So it was very like fantastical. And I was just constantly in fantasy. And that was something that I used to escape a lot too. And I wasn't someone who was grounded as a child, like at all. I didn't relate to like how the world was made or how it was set up. I was always kind of just in the realms of imagination and fantasy thinking and fantasy being. When I was a teenager, things just got really, really hard because I was just being bullied and things were not going well at home. I come from a very Indian family and everyone's a doctor and an engineer grounded and very like regulated. And they're very just like, we do the thing, we're gonna be successful, and then that's it. I just didn't like I didn't know how to fit. Like I actually tried. I actually tried to be that like straight A student, like all those things, but I just like was never meant to. Like I was never meant to be that person. Do you know the quote? When you don't fit in, it's because you were like born to stand out, like you were born to be a leader, like you weren't meant to fit in that. Like I just like that wasn't my dharma, like that wasn't my soul's path. So I just didn't. Like I actually tried. I guess when I was a teenager, I kind of came into the mentality, if nothing's like working for me, I can't fit in anywhere, I can't please anyone, like I'm constantly being bullied, I'm just gonna go my own way completely. And my own way was kind of like a rebellion. And I went really hard with that. I went really hard and it didn't last very long because I'm a Scorpio and it's like when I do something, it's going to be intense. If I'm devoted to something, it's going to be intense. It was a tumultuous experience because when I was a teenager, I really just learned how to like nurture every single thing that I was feeling in any and every toxic way possible. Like I figured it out, but I figured it out in a toxic way. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I really learned how to become like codependent and feel that aching and yearning of self-worth from men in like codependent relationships. And that was really, really difficult because it was too much. I just learned how to find solace in like every addictive behavior, binge eating, using drugs and alcohol, like constantly. I remember being 14 and like my dad found me doing that and he just took away the alcohol and I was just like on my hands and knees like crying, like begging him, I need this to be happy, like I can't be stable without alcohol. I was bringing it to school and drinking it at school. I was just really wanting to dissociate from my pain, my experience, my reality, and that was the only way that I knew how at that time. So I just went all into it and that didn't last very long. I got sent to my parents, yeah, sent me to go live with my conservative like grandparents. I was just a bit manic and I was just trying to find any way to continue the behavior and that didn't work with them. So I got sent to a boot camp when I was 14. And I went to that boot camp and it was just really difficult because all the behavior, like the substances and the alcohol, that all stopped. But this is what I had to learn in my journey. When you remove the substances and the alcohol, if the addiction is still in that void, is still like inside, if you don't tend to it with the grace of God and like face it, it will like perpetuate itself in a million different forms or like a million different behaviors. So I just used any behavioral way possible I could to like perpetuate that addiction and the intense emotions. And this was nice. I had a lot of free time to make art. That was one thing I really found comfort in. Like I've always been an artist. I painted when I was really young. I did makeup. I was a realistic artist. It was really nice because like everyone around me too saw, they really recognized me for that. And that's something that I did feel good in. And so when I was at that boot camp, yeah, it was bad. I just got bullied a lot. And I was completely like mute and so shy my whole life. Like I didn't talk at all. And I was just so small and so scared. I was just a little bundle of like fear addiction, low self-worth, dissociation. I just wanted this sense of validation and comfort from anything external because I was so just tormented within. And so yeah, I got bullied there, and for 5 months I was like at that boot camp, which was yeah, an experience. And then I came back home, and yeah, just for the rest of my high school years, it was really hard. I moved schools like a couple times. I just really depended on men to like comfort that inner child. Like I just wanted that like external comfort so badly because everything in me was just aching. And I just, yeah, I got myself into many painful experiences. And then I graduated early. I don't really know how I did that at 17. Yeah, I have no idea how I did that because I was not, my focus was in school, but I somehow graduated 6 months early.
Hmm.
And this was like moving into how I got sober. Um, yeah, I basically met this man when I was 17 who was like in his late 20s, and he owned a cannabis farm. And I moved into a cannabis farm with him. And yeah, I just like left. I left my home, like I left everything. I was like, bye guys, bye everyone, I'm out of here. Like, and that was that. And that's where my addiction like really progressed, like went really crazy because he just gave me whatever I wanted. Like he just gave me as much. If I wanted drugs, there were drugs. If I want alcohol, there was alcohol. Yeah, if I wanted cannabis, there was so much cannabis. And yeah, it was bad. And then one day I just broke. Like I just broke. Like we just got into an argument, and I went home at 17, and then I got into another relationship, and that person was actually pretty healthy. And I actually reconnected with a friend who was in my addiction, like in high school. And she actually got sober at 16, and she's still sober. So she actually reconnected with me during that time. And she told me like about her sobriety journey. And I was so desperate. Like I remember I wanted to get sober on my own. No one ever forced me except in high school, but they were just like stop. But I was like, no, like I just remember one day I was so depressed. My hair was falling out. I couldn't, everything was horrible. Like I was just like a shell of a person. I was so beaten up and like worn out from just like being so immersed in complete and total addiction and self-betrayal and like the agony of just suffering, that I was done. I was like, this girl has it. Like at the time I thought that's what I like, that was when you made it in life. I was like, this girl is 17 and she has her like own apartment and she's super spiritual. Because I actually started meditating, like getting into deep states of meditation when I was 14. And yeah, I just didn't think it was my time yet to reach the point of um being on the other side of addiction. Because again, like I said in the beginning, like I feel like I endured the amount of suffering I did so I could reach the highest of highs, in terms of connecting with God, like seeking God so much because of the intensity of suffering that I experienced. So I just don't think it was my time yet. Like when I was 14 and 15 and meditating, like I was just not right. Like it wasn't the right time. And yeah, so then I reconnected with that girl, and she helped me get into a treatment center when I was 18. And that was really hard because for the first time ever, I was taught like discipline and like not acting out. And it was like very harsh. It was, first it was loving, but I'm very stubborn. If I choose to be, I will be stubborn. I learned in my sobriety not to be stubborn, but it was really hard for me. It was like pulling teeth out. It was really hard for me. But that treatment experience completely changed my life because it was the place where you were cut off from anything and everything that could distract you from getting in touch with the contact of God. And you were just like confined in a space to like force yourself to like face this addiction and like get in touch with a higher power. And so in that space, I was like meditating for hours a day. Like I was the only one. I was the only one who was meditating for hours a day because I had to. And it completely changed my life. I was doing step work, looking at like my trauma for hours a day. I was doing therapy. I was going for runs. I was constantly battling, like having like I also got bullied there, which was interesting because I had never gone through such a rapid transformation. I was like put in this teen program, like, and then I was like, I'm done. I want to be with the adults. I don't belong here. Because like in the teen program, they were kind of like soft. They were like, you can like as much sugar as you want. You can watch as much TV as you want. Those like teenagers were bullying me, and I was just like, guys, I'm already done. I don't have time. I don't have the energy for this. I don't belong in the teen program. Like I knew if I stayed in that teen program, I wouldn't have been able to make it through, like get the reprieve that I was needing. And so I begged to be in the adult program. So they put me in the adult program and I was like the only teenager there. But then I was very black and white. It's all or nothing. I'm not going to be going into treatment and also binge eating on sugar and everything else. Like that's not going to work. And I learned how to like be an adult at a very like micro level. And I had the responsibilities and expectations of an adult. Yeah, it was really, really incredible because I did like my first set of 12 steps and that was incredible. And then the meditation, I was really able to get in touch with not only my higher power, but like a glimpse of like my soul self. And I had never seen this part of myself. I didn't know this part of myself was possible to be on earth. I didn't even know that this part of me existed. And it was so painful to remove everything. It's like when a gutter's clogged with so much garbage, and then you start to clean it and it starts to become purified, fog starts to clear. It was just so incredibly painful. After that treatment experience, I had gotten a lot of like grief from that, but I was left with other addictions that I still had to face, such as like the codependencies and the money and the food, and that was really hard. I ended up moving out on my own for the first time. I was 18 and I had roommates for like a very brief period of time, but I really just needed to be alone. And even still, I live alone to be with God. And yeah, it was really difficult at 19. I like chose to break up with my boyfriend because like I had such like a codependency on relationships and it was really blocking like my connection to myself and connection to God. Like I I had such a void of self-love throughout my whole life. Like I was being bullied up until I was 18. I like it became so intense for me just to like receive romantic love from someone else because it was just like everything that I felt I needed. And I knew like it was just not serving me anymore to approach love and dating in this trauma based way, in this wounded way. I needed to clear everything that was blocking me from actually meeting myself completely, like just meeting my soul and healing the parts of myself that never got that attention. Yeah, it took a while. Like I'm still on that journey, but I like became celibate for a couple of years and I'm still like yeah, I'm still on that journey as well because it takes time. And that's the thing. I was just led to so many different experiences because I was just in full and complete surrender to God. Whenever I was in resistance, like the addiction would perpetuate itself in so many different ways. But when I completely surrendered to the presence of God would manifest through me and show up in my life. And I would experience the presence of God when I connected with God. And just during that time, I connected with Kat, who we both know, which that totally changed my life. Like joining the money program totally changed my life because it taught me how to be an adult. Like I got in the space of like just healing all day, like just doing that all day. All those other programs, the romance, the substances, like they taught me how to like remove myself from the addiction, the money program taught me how to really like get a life for myself and like live up to my potential. And so those are like the programs that I use today. And I got to like travel the world and like go to like Bali and like LA and like go to different leadership programs and really like get to know who I am. And I never saw myself as a leader before. I always saw myself as just this small little shell of a person who would just follow what everyone else is like doing because I thought I didn't know. But just, yeah, in those programs, it really brought the leader out of me. And yeah, I got to know the person who I was meant to be. And I really found out like my path, like my dharma, my soul's purpose is Tantra, women's empowerment, self love, because, and that's what I find like lights my heart up the most. I find the most joy in. It's the pain that I felt the most in my life has been addictions and the void of self love. So that's like the medicine that I'm constantly eating myself with. It's the medicine that I'm committed to giving to the world. Then I found Tantra one day and I didn't choose to find it. I was actually opposed to it because I didn't understand what it was. And when I found it, it was, yeah, my teacher, she teaches from like a very traditional lens. It's a very traditional lens. And why I love it so much is because it is like the most powerful modality I've ever found in my life that works on your mind, body, spirit in the most just intense way to completely like clear and cleanse the blockages that you are facing that are hindering your soul's presence. And yeah, it does, like the way that it's done is just so, it's fast paced and it's similar to the yoga that you do, kundalini yoga. And then the reason why it's actually perfect for people with addictions is because it actually specifically helps you work. So addictions live in like the sacral chakra. Like when the sacral chakra is imbalanced or not get blocked, or there's like impurities that live there, there's like addictions and like the attachment to pleasure and wanting to feel good all the time. And with Tantra, like you learn to work with that energy and channel it into like creation energy, but also move up. Like you learn to move the energy up from like you're living in like that center, but then you have like access to like other parts of your being and your other chakras and your other parts of your bodies. So lots of people actually who struggle with addiction come to Tantra because they're just stuck there. They're just stuck in their sacral chakra, and it teaches you how to like, we're going to move it up. Let's move it up. And how to alchemize that, like the addiction energy into creation energy. And so it's just like my soul's path. It's my dharma. I'm right now on the path of like going to India to become a teacher. And I've been like training with my teacher for like a year and a half. And when I found it instantly, I was like, this is what I meant to do. Like, this is my medicine to the world. And I'm really, really grateful for that. And I incorporate elements of that into my business. So I decided to start my makeup company because I just wanted to use a form of art to express myself in the world. And I just thought makeup would be a great way to do that because I love working with people. I love connecting with people. I love connecting with people's hearts and I love having an impact on people. And yeah, so I just moved towards pursuing makeup artistry. And my intention with my brand is a little bit different. Like I named my brand Goddess Artistry because my intention is to support women in connecting with their own inner goddess by helping them embody that energy through the expression of like makeup artistry. And this is actually a tool in Tantra where you look at the deepest part of a person's soul. Like you look at them beyond their physical body and you do it in a very specific way that it teaches. And it's very specific, and you're able to actually like awaken that side of a person just by being able to like look at them in a very, very specific, like look at them at the deepest part of their souls. That's my intention. Just supporting women and like, because so many of us use makeup to like escape our natural appearance and move away from like our natural body and our physical appearance. But my intention is to really like celebrate our features, enchant our features with love and adoration, and just like awaken that part in us that wants to be expressed. Like for me, like makeup artistry is a form of expression and a form of self-love. And I get into sometimes these channeled states of like literally working with the goddess to like create that experience for women when they're like in my chair. And it's so special. And I'm, yeah, every single experience is just so different. And the connections that I make with these women are so special. And I love connecting with people's hearts. Like, there's nothing more that I love than connecting with like the hearts and souls of different women that sit in my chair. Yeah, I absolutely love working as a makeup artist and incorporating just my spiritual experiences into my artistry.
Oh my gosh, I love this story. And it was coming through for me. I mean, there were thousands of questions that were floating through. I want to back up a little bit. I mean, like this feels like this story of liberation, right? Like you came into this world as this divine feminine energy that the world wasn't ready for. I mean, this is my interpretation, and it's like this pure, I have daughters, and I can see some of those aspects in them, that this sacred, the purest form of the feminine, when in a safe container, feels safe to express, feels safe to be sensual. And if it's protected and it's safe and that beauty is allowed, it is one of the most beautiful things on the planet, but when our modern day world, it's shifting, it's changing, right? But it hasn't been safe for that. There hasn't been a safe container. And I think parents and religion and things kind of want to squash and hold that back and hold that down, that's wrong, that's not okay, you have to be this way. And then with repression comes addiction, comes this, this rebellion in some ways. And I just love that you were able to, it's like a miracle that you were able to break through at such a young age and discover and find yourself and advocate and speak up for yourself, that I don't want to be in the teen. I'm ready for the adult. And now here you are embracing the goddess and like a dakini, embracing the beauty and wanting to bring out beauty in women and people, and now wanting to study Tantra. And for those who are listening who don't know what Tantra are, I would love for you to share what is that in a way that I know what it is, but not everybody who's listening may know what that is. So do you mind describing what that is for people?
Yes, and thank you so much for saying that. First of all, that was just such a beautiful reflection of my share. So thank you so much, because I see that in myself, really just channeling like the goddess into the world, and not everyone is ready for that energy. And I think the world as we see it isn't ready to hold that energy. And I really just had to learn how to hold that energy within myself. Because if you have also just tons of Shakti, feminine energy, like wild, ravenous, beautiful, feminine, powerful, feminine energy, if there's no grounding for that, if there's no space within yourself to hold that, like it can become a dysregulated experience. So I've like really, that's part of what, oh, that's part of what it is. That's like getting into your next question. So there are like various ways and interpretations to describe what Tantra is, but the way that I've learned it is the balancing and harmonizing. This is like exactly what I was just saying, of the feminine and masculine polarities. That's the way that I practice it, and focusing on the clearing and activating of all your chakra centers to reach samadhi, to reach moksha, and using energy um, to channel certain energies and increase the power of Shakti in the areas of your body that need to be activated. So there's Shiva and then there's Shakti. And Shakti is energy. Like we are energizing certain, like when I'm doing yoga, I'm energizing those parts of my body with Shakti. And Shiva is that stillness, that infinite stillness that is holding the container for Shakti to move through. And yeah, in a nutshell, that's what Tantra is.
Yes.
When I'm a teacher, I will definitely share more. Thanks for asking that question. Many people don't know what it is, and many people also think it's just like a sexual experience, but sexuality is just 10% a part of it. 10 to 20, and it doesn't even have, like, some people just want it to be sexual. Some people don't want, like, they want to pursue a completely aesthetic path and they don't want sexuality to be a part of it at all, like, or it can be both. Like, there's many different like avenues of Tantra. It's not just like one thing. It can be either or, it can be both. What also really, really made Tantra like so helpful for me is because I had so much of that like feminine energy, and my masculine like wasn't balanced. Like in all the asanas that I do, we're like harmonizing and balancing both and adding energy to certain areas and chakras in the body, and also cleansing the body of like all the blockages so the soul has room to move through.
The liberation, I love it. It's so beautiful. And a lot of what you're speaking on, the chakras and the energy body, in East Asian medicine in multiple cultures, including Chinese medicine, including Ayurvedic medicine, including the yogic path, is that there's the unseen realms. You know, like we have Wi-Fi. We all know what Wi-Fi is, but we can't see it. Right. And so there's our heartbeat has that electromagnetic field, and there's this electromagnetic field around our body. And within it are these energy systems that you're speaking about that are associated with different aspects of us, the lower triangle, the upper triangle. And what you were speaking about is not that one is better or higher. There's no real hierarchy. It's all part of our wholeness, and that those lower chakras, that where addiction can occur when there's misalignments, traumas, or dysregulation, those are our aspects, our earthly human aspects that you're saying through Tantra, through practice, you can clear them up with breath work and certain asanas and yoga practices and meditations to help elevate and bring your soul's energy, that Kundalini energy, up to your higher centers, to where your crown, where you are connected to the cosmos. And I think it is so beautiful. And so to close out, I would love for you to share, are there any sacred practices that you think could help someone who, there's so much like brilliance and that can be birthed through the other side of addiction, the struggles of mental health and the creativity. And, so what are some things practices that you'd like to share with people to help balance and ground the energy so that you can feel connected to higher power, but still be grounded in your...
Thank you so much for asking that question. Inner child healing was a huge part of my journey, and it's still a huge part of my journey. It changes and evolves. But for me, the addict looks like the wounded inner child. And so I constantly, because I'm not a Tantra teacher yet, so I don't teach these practices. I will, as time evolves itself. I constantly, when people are struggling, like I bring them back to this practice of connecting with their inner child, because like the addict is the void of like the unmet needs of the inner child. So when I'm like hurting or like yearning or wanting something, because also like that's another thing. When you are in the perpetual cycle of addiction, you're so used to like looking for like external stimulus, external anything to just like make you feel better. But when you connect with your inner child and you're also doing tantric practices, you're connecting with like your own divinity that lives within you, your soul self. So you're connecting with the God that's within, the God slash goddess that's within. And yeah, so a practice that I just invite people to do is like when you hear or when you feel yourself in a dysregulated state or like a state of yearning for something to like fill that void, just like connect with that part of yourself, ask them where it's coming from, what they need, and just talk to them in like a very soothing, loving, nurturing voice. And ask them like genuinely from a raw and vulnerable place. Like imagine yourself as like a little girl or like a little boy or whatever have you, and just look at them with like pure devotion and like unconditional love and innocence, and just like look at them, that little girl or boy who's hurting so much, and like that in the situations that they were dealt with at the time, and in the situations where they started to yearn for that addiction and for that pain to be relieved, and just look at them with so much love, and just imagine yourself like holding them and wrapping like your arms around them with so much love, grace, and just compassion, unconditional, like universal love, and tell them like what they want, like what they're yearning to hear. And like give yourself that gift of like comfort, love, validation. And that's like when you take your power back, when you give yourself what you need, and when you're also like working with God, and or when you're connecting with God, you at a cosmic level are providing a source of unconditional divine love for that little you who was yearning it. And yeah, just talk to them, just hold them. And if you need support throughout the day, I would just recommend like even coaching yourself through it. Like talking to this little, like imagine yourself as a little child who was hurting, and just coaching yourself, mediating yourself, like holding your own hand through it. And that really got me through so much, especially like codependencies.
Hmm.
Like I immediately stopped, like immediately, like it was hard and sharp. Like it literally, I had no desire or need. And when you consistently do inner child work, then instead of like attachment, you meet people from a place of like attunement and connection and wholeness, instead of wanting and needing something to fill like your inner child's slash addict's void.
Hmm.
So that's what I would recommend.
Yes. Oh, I love it. It's the most beautiful work. And when we are able to validate ourselves, it's everlasting. Like when we need it to be external and to come from other people, it'll never be enough.
No,
Always need
it's a
more. You
constant
always
chase.
need more and a constant chase. But like, to stop and love that little person inside who you're reparenting them in a lot of ways. So thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you so
beautiful story.
much.
It's so inspiring, and I'm just excited to see more of what's going to be born from you, and the light and the love and the purity that you bring to the world is what the world needs now more than ever. And I do think that things are shifting in a way that it eventually is going to be safe for that feminine energy, and that there's going to be more Shiva energy that's going to come in that's pure to protect that energy, and that the world is going to balance. It's that we came here to be a part of that. So thank you for your courage to stand in your light and your truth and your beauty, and to not back down. So how can people find you?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Krystal. You're just like a ray of light. You're such an angel. Like, I just feel this like essence of pure light like coming from your being, and I've always felt that this just like I feel so safe to land in your presence. Like, I feel like you have the maternal energy that like I always wanted, and always like I love just surrounding myself with like safe feminine energy like yours, because it just, yeah, it's, yeah, that mother wound, it's just like so nice to like experience that healthy like mother archetype in other women. And thank you so much for being such an incredible host and reflecting what you see back to me. It means so much to me with my whole heart. Thank you. And I just want to say one last thing to the young people of these of the current times. You don't have to wait to be free. You don't have to wait. I think that a lot of people get caught up in addictions or just doing things that don't serve their higher self. And you don't have to wait to be free. Freedom is accessible now. And yeah, it welcomes you. You don't have to wait until you're 30 or in your late 20s. You can have it now. And what's on the other side of that is so abundant and so beautiful. I can't even tell you. Everyone can find me on my Instagram at goddess.artistry. And you can also find me at my main Instagram where I share spiritual teachings, which is Jasleen.Kaeley, JASLEEN.KAELEY.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you to the listeners who showed up today, and just know that your healing matters and that you're not alone.
Thank you for joining me on Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. If today's episode lifted you up, I'd love if you shared it with a friend, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps more people discover these stories of light and transformation. And if you'd like to work with me more closely, head over to www.drkrystalkinnunen.com. And as a thank you for listening to the show, you'll receive $20 off your first session. Details are also in the show notes. Remember, in this time of rapid change and transformation, you are not alone. You are part of a greater shift, and your inspired life matters. Until next time, let's be inspired.